And good morning, everyone. And you're all, as Kieran said, you're all very welcome to this year's Radio Centre Ireland Sounding Out event. And we are going to be talking about the future of radio this morning, and no discussion about the future of anything is complete anymore without discussing how AI is going to be in that future and what role it's going to play in that future. And as Kieran mentioned, I was at the Radio Awards a couple of weeks ago, and someone at our table made a joke about how all of our jobs are going to be gone in the next 10 years because of AI. As you can imagine, that fell pretty flat because this person didn't realise or maybe hadn't accounted for the fact, as I've mentioned before, that we as radio and television presenters are inherently deeply insecure people who are constantly worried, as it happens, that somebody else is going to take our job. I don't know where that fear comes from. You know, just you can call us paranoid if you want, but it's there. There is that fear. So apparently AI is the next big thing, and I thought it might be instructive this morning or in preparation for this morning, to ask ChatGPT to write a short opening speech for me about radio and creativity and the truth and the future and all of that. And first of all, it instructs me to tell you all that I'm thrilled to be here and that you're all very passionate individuals gathered here today, and that we are all united, and I'm quoting here, by our shared love for this incredible medium and our commitment to its evolution. Which is a bit much, let's be honest, a bit American, yeah. But I'm sure you're all very engaged, and I am actually quite happy to be here as well, so they were on the right track. Much to my bitter satisfaction, however, nothing else in the opening speech that ChatGPT prepared for me was, in my view, particularly insightful about the future of radio and where things are going to go, because it talked about the challenges and the potential for radio in the age of AI, but it didn't identify what, in my view, is the big advantage that radio is going to have in the years ahead, and that is a claim on the truth. Because I don't know about you, but I can't watch a cat video in peace anymore. You know, I don't know if that's really a cat, and it just undermines the whole thing for me. Do you know what I mean? I don't know if any of you have seen that video of the dog with the hose in his mouth and he's running through a cat flap and he sprays everything and he makes everything wet in the house. It's a great video, and is it real? It's not real. So that's no good to me. Or did you hear about Donald Trump talking about how ships sink or are likely to sink more often now because batteries are really heavy? So they're going to make the ship sink, and as a result, more people are going to die from shark attacks. Is that real? You know, actually, as it happens, that is real. So we're living in an age now when truth is quite genuinely, I think more than ever before, stranger than fiction. And we're all in a situation where we don't know what the truth is anymore. And I think we're only at the tip of the iceberg. I don't know an awful lot about AI, but I do know that already it can imitate and represent reality pretty well. Most of the time you can figure it out, sometimes you can't. But I do think it's, from what people tell me, the way it's going to be moving into the future, it's going to be more and more difficult to figure out the truth from reality. And I believe that the further we move into that morass of AI, the further we move from being able to clearly differentiate between truth and fiction, I believe the more people will crave truth and authenticity. And it's not specific to radio. This is actually really applicable to all traditional media, but I see, because of that, the rise of AI not as a threat to our industry, but actually as the biggest opportunity that we've had in years. I think it's the moment we've been waiting for the last decade to reassert ourselves in the media landscape as having finally, once again, a USP, because we might not be the fastest with the news, but we will tell you the truth as best we can. Now, there's a caveat to all that, of course. Lots of media organisations have had their fair share of challenges with trust in the last couple of years, some more than others. And it's certainly fair to say that we don't get things right all the time, but I do think that in terms of brand and identity and the offer of a place that our audience can come to feel safe when the world is a mess of confusion, I think we have that offer and we should be grasping it with both hands. And of course, that is never more powerful, this offer of truth and a safe place to get the truth, than when you combine it also with an offer of connection And I've spoken about this at previous conferences here about how, I've done print, I still do a bit of print at the odd time, I do TV and I do radio, and I really believe that it is radio that you form the most intimate connections with your listeners or with people who engage with you. You are in their homes, you're the background voice to their lives. They really do connect with you in a way that I don't feel you get on other platforms. And just as an example of that, it was announced last week that I'm going to be leaving Drive Time. More on that coming in the coming weeks. But I was contacted by quite a few listeners who were, really upset about the news. And there's one in particular who wrote to me, and she said, "I know it sounds stupid, but I think of you more as a friend than as a broadcaster. So what am I going to do now?" And it was a really beautiful message for me personally. It was lovely, but more appropriately for the conference, because you don't need to be hearing about my personal messages, it was a really powerful message, I think, for the industry. Because if you think about it, in the age of AI, when nobody knows what to believe anymore, radio can offer now people the promise of real people, friends, that they can trust, who will tell them the truth. And I think there's going to be nothing more powerful in the future. So I think, actually, radio is future-proofed. Of course, I might be wrong, and I might be out of a job in 10 years. I might be self-soothing here for the last couple of minutes, so thank you for listening to my self-soothing. Now, that is enough for me for now. It is time to hear from people who are actual experts in the topic of radio. So over the course of the morning, as Kieran mentioned, we're going to be hearing about a wide range of challenges and opportunities when it comes to the future of the medium, about how to keep people's attention and how people are likely to listen into the future, and loads more besides. So let's get to it. And our first speaker this morning is Dr. Lolly Mancy, who is an anthropologist, an AI ethicist and innovator who leads the Innovation and Entrepreneurship Programme at UCD's Innovation Academy. She's also a senior serial entrepreneur, storyteller, and media presenter, advocating for ethical technology, progressive education and inclusion. And this morning, Lolly is going to be the real expert about AI. She's going to talk to us about AI and the future and the implications for marketing. Please welcome Lolly, please.